Hi and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a summer transfer move to Arsenal. Starting off today with a rumour about Socrates. Now, Socrates, he's the defender, centre-back who plays for Borussia Dortmund, 29 years of age. He's been linked heavily today with a move to Arsenal. He's said to be favouring a move away from Dortmund. He'd like to experience a new challenge, he says. And basically, that's why he's been linked with Arsenal. I don't see, there's been no sort of definitive link there from what I could see. Maybe a lot of it is based off of the fact that he was linked with Arsenal before. There was one time, a couple of seasons ago, when Arsenal were definitely in for him and wanted to buy him, but he ended up staying at Borussia Dortmund. Decent centre-back. I don't know if Arsenal are in for Socrates right now. Are we even looking for a centre-back? Because you look at it and, with the emergence of Rob Holding, you've got Koscielny there, of course, Mustafi, even Chambers is still out on loan. There's players there, really. Listen, if we could get somebody like a Virgil van Dijk, I'd be up for that. But Socrates, I don't know. That would hold back somebody like Rob Holding. And do we want to do that right now after how good he's looked? I think he deserves a chance in the full team. One of our centre-backs, however, has been linked with a move away, and that is Laurent Koscielny. Now, there's been a lot of rumours flying around recently that he'd be interested in a move to Marseille. He used to be, he's grown up as a Marseille supporter and he's a Marseille fan. He openly admitted that. He was in an interview yesterday with a Téléfoot French outlet, and he said that, listen, I'm a Marseille fan, and you never know one day, but right now I'm very happy at Arsenal. I've got a contract there till 2020, and I'm, just basically, yeah, these rumours, they're flying around. Marseille, I was a fan, but I'm happy at Arsenal. For me, end of. It's dead. Arsenal are not looking to sell him. So why this big story about it? But listen, we're in that type of season. So any little sort of thing where you don't flatly deny something, it gets turned into this big story, into this big link. But Laurent Koscielny going nowhere. Now, has Serge Gnabry just done Arsenal a big favour? Now, remember, Serge Gnabry was an Arsenal player. We sold him last season to Werder Bremen. A lot of people were upset about that because he was just sort of rising to prominence again at Arsenal. Remember, he'd had that sort of breakout season. Then he got injured. Then he came back, played for Germany in the under-21s, did really, really well. But then he said he wanted to move because his contract was coming to an end. He decided to go to Werder Bremen. Now, Werder Bremen have just sold him to Bayern Munich, and that shows you just how much he's progressing. Bayern Munich have bought him on a 3-year deal. A lot of suggestions flying around in Germany that now ends Bayern Munich's interest in Alexis Sanchez. Now that they've got Gnabry, that position's filled. They're not really looking at Alexis no more. And that the wages for Alexis are too high. I mean, there were suggestions a couple of days ago in the Daily Mirror that Bayern Munich was looking to pay up to £350,000 a week in wages for Alexis, which on this show I said at the time, I just can't see that. I just could not see how that could be a thing when they've been moaning about the amount of money that Alexis wants in wages. So could this Gnabry deal have killed any rumour of Alexis going dead? And then there's also, PSG have really cooled on the fact that, about Alexis. Doesn't seem like they're that keen on Alexis no more, which then only really leaves Man City. And I'm still not convinced with this Man City stuff because, number one, I think Arsenal made it clear they're not going to sell him to another English club. And number two, do Man City need Alexis as well? You know what I mean? They've got guys like Leroy Sané, they've got Sterling there, they've got Jesus, who they've just recently bought, Aguero. They're finding it difficult at the moment to accommodate those guys, They've still got, even if you try to play him in a position behind him, they've just bought that Bernardo Silva, they've got David Silva. Where would Alexis play? Where would he fit in there? I mean, listen, we know it's Man City and they got the money to just buy a player, but would Alexis want to go there and not be certain of a start? So there is still, for me, hope that Alexis could still stay at Arsenal. And this Gnabry deal that was done yesterday may be something that could keep him at the club. So we have to wait and see what happens with that one. Callum Chambers being linked today with a move to Crystal Palace. Now, Callum Chambers, he was on loan last season at Middlesbrough, done really well as well at Middlesbrough. Of course, he's a centre-back. Do we bring him back again? As I said, we're kind of congested in that position right now. Or will he go out on another loan, or will we decide to sell him? We paid a lot of money for Callum Chambers, but he just hasn't really hit it off in Arsenal's eyes at the moment. Will it be a loan move? Will it be a sale? But he's been linked with Crystal Palace today. Riyad Mahrez, linked with Arsenal heavily, came out and said yesterday that he's been flattered by the praise that's been heaped upon him by Arsene Wenger. But there's been no move from Arsenal for him yet. That could yet be the sort of maybe deal that Arsenal might want to try and make, especially if they did lose Alexis Sanchez. But Riyad Mahrez saying that no deal has been, or no contact yet made from Arsenal to Leicester City for his services. And finally, great goal by Aaron Ramsey yesterday. He continues his great form. He was on form towards the end of the season, playing for Wales yesterday, scored a brilliant Panenka penalty against Serbia. They drew that game by 1-1. Actually, the Arsenal players over this international break have been doing really, really well. Maitland-Niles, well done to him. England under-20s winning the World Cup yesterday. He came on as a sub in that game. So well done to him. He's a World Cup winner. Mustafi scored for Germany. Giroud's been banging in the goals. You know, Xhaka scored for Switzerland. So, you know, Oxlade-Chamberlain for England. So the Arsenal boys have been doing really well on international duty. Of course, all those players did pick up a lot of their form towards the end of the season. You could argue that they didn't really play much from January down to about April or so, but, you know, that's why they're still fresh. That's another matter. Right, let's get into some of your comments from yesterday. And by the way, if look for some video comments as well. If you want to look in the link below. There's an email address there. If you use that email address, you can send in your video comments. What I'd like you to do on your video comments is tell me who you think we should sign. Keep those videos no longer than 10 seconds. If they're longer than 10 seconds, we won't be able to use them because the files will be too big. About 10 seconds long, that's it. Email them in. You see the link below. You can WeTransfer them as well. That's another good way to send them. Send them into that email address only. That's the only place where if you send them, they'll get used, and we'll try and use them on the show. So thank you very much for that. Getting into some of the comments, Blood Fam, I wonder who inspired him. He says, Giroud is very underrated. Yeah, he ain't great or world class, but the amount of times he saves Arsenal with last minute goals is beyond. He gets zero respect, and he's acted as if he's the shittest player around. Listen, for me, we want to keep a hold of Giroud, but for me also, you know, Giroud's talking about guaranteed starts and that. We can't guarantee him a start. We need an upgrade on a striker for definitely a pacey striker, but Giroud, I think we should keep. He's an experienced player and he can be very vital. Look at the cup final when he came on and that assist for the winning goal. Aaron Feldman says, speech class with Robbie, right? Can Google you. Can Google you, right? He's trying to give me the pronunciation of the, it's Hakan Kangliu, who is, of course, the player that we've been linked with. Louis says, Giroud is an amazing player for France because he plays with another striker alongside him. Unless Arsenal completely change their system, he's useless for us. Well, remember, Arsenal were playing that system with three at the back, which then meant that Alexis was sort of playing alongside Giroud. Didn't quite work for me, though. Didn't quite work. Still think Giroud, he sort of lacks a bit of pace in behind. And Kanui here says, Arsenal should try and get Aubameyang to complement Sanchez so that Sanchez will know Arsenal is a contender and hopefully he's not leaving. And I agree with him completely. I don't know why we haven't gone in for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. He wants to leave Dortmund. I know he's been linked heavily with PSG. I see today that PSG are also now interested in Mbappe. Everybody's interested in him, but of course we know they have the resources to do that as well. I think they've been a bit unhappy with the asking prices and wages of Aubameyang. But for me, that's the sort of player that Arsenal should be trying to sign. I mean, I know it will be difficult. The thing is, what we've got this year is that no Champions League football. And this is what I was saying to a lot of fans last year when they say, oh, I don't care whether we get in the Champions League or not. I say to them, it's important. When you want to sign a player like an Aubameyang or like an Mbappe, it's important that you're in the Champions League. And, you know, we're not Man United where we can just chuck whatever money at to dampen that down. Champions League is vital for us. But still, we're going to have to pay over the odds if we're going to try and get these players this summer. And Aubameyang should be someone we should be going for. Listen, thanks for watching the show today, and we'll be back tomorrow.
Subscribe to ArsenalFanTV.